5 more years? More like 50, and I'm surprised Robo Joe isn't a presidential election slogan yet. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and wild news to get into today, as of course we are dealing with a decaying president who most likely will be winning his re-election. This as international turmoil just hits an all-time record high from the latest political developments happening all around the world, as there's a major Supreme Court case decision that will have the corporate media absolutely freak out, along with the deep state operatives that are pulling their strings. What's going on here? Well, we're going to be discussing that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast, I originally saw on social media as it was posted by B. Gates is a Psycho. Great username, as he also goes by the moniker Concerned Citizen, who's a UK-US conspiracy-based father who's really a data analyzer, interpreter, and rejecter of woke knowledge. Someone who I believe made this video an excellent juxtaposition of the latest technological advancement and deep state operatives working together hand in hand in some probably really sneaky, awful ways that we are not even aware of yet. What's really going on here? I don't know. As the president is old and now relying on a, quote, new boot anchor that is meant for maximum stability for his strange, bewildering movements he makes when he, of course, jolts and jumps around and sometimes falls while, being the president of the United States. And if shoes like this weren't meant for running a country, well, they weren't. They're meant for extremely old people so they could walk safely and not fall down and pass away. Those people who, again, there's a danger of them falling and passing away right away, shouldn't be the president of the United States, as we're finding out that the president also likes to create a very angry and anxious environment all around him, as he is also being recorded shouting and swearing at aides after being told that he is not performing too well in the polls. This as the president of the United States is blaming, quote, poor communication and conflicting advice from his staff, especially when it comes to the issue unfolding right now in the Middle East, as a reason to his popularity going down. As of course, that's one reason out of many other reasons, chief of which I think has to deal with immigration, the economy, as well as his absolutely horrible foreign policy that represent Old Yeller here, who at his old age should be hanging out with his family, should be relaxing, should be retired. But he's literally screaming and shouting at people inside of the White House as he has his zombie-like twitchy hands literally on the red button that could end it all. So yeah, if that doesn't give you a lot of hope, I don't know what will, as the people that he's screaming at are probably already very unhappy, as psychological research in Finland at the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology just released a study highlighting how most woke people are more likely to be unhappy, anxious, and depressed. Now imagine being a woke person working inside of the White House and having Biden scream at you. This is, of course, there's a lot of different factors to why this is most likely the case here, as of course there's a lot of things in our diet and our food, water supply, medically induced extortion efforts to push products and unnecessary procedures on you. There's a lot of adult content. There's a lot of hormones that are being absolutely manipulated without people's consent or even understanding of it. And yeah, even though we're living in one of the most richest, privileged places on earth, we're also living in one of the most depressed places, which is really interesting. As of course, the people of Haiti don't really have a lot, as the head of UNICEF just came out and described a situation in Haiti that is akin to, quote, absolute chaos, as he's describing serious hunger, malnutrition, with gangs still blocking roads, stopping aid, detailing situations allegedly like scenes from Mad Max. This, as a lot of aid is automatically looted and stolen as soon as it arrives in Haiti, as 1.4 million people are recorded to be on the verge of famine. This as Haitian American citizens just landed in Miami with a first chartered flight that airlifted American citizens out of that country. This as the U.S. Embassy urged U.S. citizens to leave with ever-increasing chaos in the country, even though the Prime Minister already stood down as now Haiti is under the leadership of Mr. Barbecue, an individual that we believe could make a very strong political case and argument here in the United States. And that's one reason we created this t-shirt calling for Barbecue to be president of the United States. Yep, it's real. Yes, you can get this shirt right now on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. It's one of the latest autistic kind of ideas that I had that I needed to implement right away. My artistic team originally wanted a lot of blood around this scene. I said, no. Just a bottle of barbecue with the sauce dripping out is fine enough. As of course, I think it is time for America to have a new bold political strategy, and Barbecue could be the man for the job here, as of course he is dealing with record corruption inside of Haiti. And again, this is a joke. We make a lot of jokes here, and I hope the Google censors understand this. I don't think they do. But yeah, that's one shirt. We have another shirt with even the co-host of this show, that lady right there. Atlas, please, other side. Thank you very much. Who is now documented in an official shirt that reads, "Become ungovernable," as she is upping a robotic police cyborg. Yes, that shirt, plus many others that will make you laugh, make you think, that will spark up very interesting conversations, all available on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. As of course, your ability to speak through t-shirts is a powerful tool in the larger information war that we are all a part of. Sometimes people let you know that they recognize your political message. Sometimes people are confused by it. Sometimes they're angry by it. Sometimes it just sparks a thought, an idea, as you can now share memes in real life, at the grocery store, at the bank, wherever it might be. You could show your true political representation. You could show people exactly where you stand as an individual in your truth, all through getting a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, as we have a lot of really awesome t-shirts that are only available on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And again, we have a lot of them. If you want to see all of them, you just scroll down a little bit here, go to all the latest shirts, and you click load more. And then you're able to see a lot of really spicy t-shirts, a lot of them censored, a lot of them banned, a lot of them we have to keep fighting to keep up, as of course some of them are too salacious to even show you here on this particular platform. Scroll through, check out the shirts, support independent media. You could do that right now, all by going to thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Also, we're going to have another video available for members of LukeUnfiltered.com right after this one with Tabiscus, Ian Crossland, and some other very special guests, as we now reviewed a machine that we can't even talk about here on this particular platform. Check the video out on LukeUnfiltered.com right after this one, where, of course, the conversation continues, as one of the main weapons of totalitarians, of central controllers, is, of course, the denying of information to the general public. One of the most powerful tools that throughout century has always liberated people is the advancement of communication. And whether it was the newspaper, the radio, the television, internet, it has always led to larger cultural and social changes that allowed people to finally be able to communicate and talk to each other. And going all the way back to when the Bible was first even given out, those screen printing machines had far more resounding effects when it came to progressing and pushing people forward than, of course, any other politician out there. As technological advancements have propelled humanity forward, while politicians, money men, and the old guard always try to hold them down. This is now the U.S. Supreme Court will be deciding a major court case regarding social media censorship, probably in the making of this video, that will have profound impacts, as the Biden administration is being accused of violating free speech by telling tech firms what can people say and cannot. Now, of course, the corporate media and the media of the Democratic establishment guard are calling this combating, quote, disinformation, but it essentially is allowing the government to allow you access to information or deny it to you. As, of course, the Biden administration has been very active when it comes to censoring individuals in many instances when those individuals were found to be absolutely truthful and honest and correct. They did this, especially within the last 4 years, extensively, as a provision in the law that was actually changed under the Trump administration, allowed the federal government to meddle not only in U.S. elections, but in American people's discourse, as the federal government and intelligence agencies routinely denied information that was correct, that was truthful to the American public in order to cover their own buttocks. They've done this routinely. They abused this system, and now this particular instance is being heard in front of the Supreme Court that hopefully makes the right decision here and denies the federal government and its intel agencies the ability to censor free speech. As, of course, Elon Musk took to his social media platform and recently wrote that many Americans have no idea that this happened, retweeting Glenn Greenwald that talked about, found that the Biden White House and FBI committed one of the gravest attacks on the First Amendment in decades by coercing big tech to censor dissent online. And that's exactly what they did. They did this routinely to many stories that we probably still can't mention here on this platform. But one of the biggest ones, of course, did make a major impact in the last presidential election and was regarding Hunter Biden's laptop, a story that, of course, was truthful that the FBI confirmed. But at the time, the FBI literally went out of their way to censor from the American discourse, which impacted the elections and helped Joe Biden become the president of the United States. As this is one instant of many instances where, of course, politicians abused their power and used this self-given authority to censor news and information purely for political purposes so they could galvanize more power and authority over everyone else. This is clearly an abuse of the system that is absolutely tragic, absolutely backwards. It not only radicalizes individuals, but it allows governments to conduct disgusting, secretive operations that do not work in the benefit of the American people, because if it did, they would be bragging about it. There's a reason major elements of the U.S. government work in secrecy is because the U.S. government works against the interest of the American people. And if the American people realized it, they wouldn't be paying for and supporting a system that it's not doing anything else but screwing them over. And again, this is a case that hopefully will be decided in the right way. And it's not about combating disinformation. It's about thought control, mind control, and the ability of central controllers and governments to control free speech in this country. As, of course, the only thing standing in the way of absolutely having the corporate media be eviscerated is the ability for people to still talk freely. As, of course, a lot of independent journalism does a way better and more honest and decent job than the corporate media, especially when it comes to breaking down events in real time like we see on Twitter, as big tech social media companies, along with the central controllers at the White House and the intelligence agencies, have been propping up alleged news information outlets that are really propaganda outlets like MSNBC. And if finally the censorship is done on social media, if the Supreme Court rules that the federal government can't manipulate news and information online, this would be essentially the final nail in the coffin for the corporate media that is still absolutely unhinged and is becoming further and further separated from actual reality. As Morning Joe just had a meltdown on his show, going on and continuing to talk about the bloodbath hoax that, of course, was proven to be wrong by a lot of people who actually were able to see the full clip on social media. We did a video about this yesterday. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out that video, as it provides you some important context here. As Joe Scarborough argued that the term is only used with the way that he wants it to be used, and of course, not in economic terms, which everyone is pointing to the conversation that was had about the economy related to it, as NBC News in June of 2022 even wrote an article about how there could be a seismic shift in the political landscape that, quote, could upend what was to be a bloodbath of a midterm election. As now they're also retweeting this latest development with Trump and the term bloodbath, which they're using in a more maniacal way. And the perfect representation of just not so smart, dull dolts that are just perfect order followers. We just had the Don Lemon interview with Elon Musk drop, which Don Lemon was interrogating Elon about his, of course, private medical records and prescription to things like ketamine, asking probing questions about the prescriptions and failing to understand logic of criticism of DEI programs that, of course, lower the bar of admission for certain individuals who meet a physical criteria that has nothing to do with absolute merit. A concept that went over the head of Don Lemon that couldn't be comprehended by him. This as Elon Musk also tweeted, yeah, to a Billy MK2K saying, I have a thought. If legacy media journalists don't like being seen as disingenuous and untrustworthy hacks, I think maybe it would help if they stopped lying and misleading for their own agenda all the time and actually exhibited integrity. But what do I know? A great point made here, as of course this Supreme Court decision could finally recall all the regurgitated propaganda that is being shoved down our throats that is absolutely disingenuous and absolutely works against the American people and is a part of a larger agenda that screws us over. Will this be the moment in time where finally the federal government says, you know what, people could actually think freely. You know what? People could actually discern information for themselves when they receive all of it and make the right decisions for themselves as individuals. Will this be the time of personal responsibility, of individuals saying, my life is in my hands and no central controller or politician is going to tell me how to live it? Will this be it? I don't know. Let me know. What do you think down in the comment section below? If you think this is the time that this is going to happen, share this video with your friends and family members, or will the general publics, the lemmings, the yellow bellies be manipulated by the central controllers who, of course, will be limiting the amount of information that you're able to get for their own personal benefit? It's a clear choice about what's happening here. Don't let the corporate media screw and manipulate your perspective and ideas surrounding these larger concepts that deserve to be talked about in a real and true fashion. If you appreciate this conversation, share this video with your friends and family members. One more video about a controversial topic that we can't talk about here on this platform, all available right now on lukeunfiltered.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.